Well guys, what I have here today is a 3D printed case that I have yet to assemble. Now this thing is sold by Modcase and they basically just sell you the project to 3D print your own in whatever color you want, and it's very much customizable. Even like the side panel, you can make it transparent or put acrylic on it. So I say we take a look at basically what you will print, what you will have to get, and how you will be able to mount it. Let's get started. Now, let's start from what you will have to get separately. So you will have to get a power button, unless you want to just short the pins on your motherboard all the time, but this is extremely cheap. You can get one for like 50 cents. And then you will have to get a USB input and output if you want to have it on the front, or you could just use the ones on the back. All the rest, aside from the screws, is 3D printed. Now they even include the 3D printing of dust filters. Yes, so these are dust filters, and basically you 3D print one and then you just slot it in and it will protect you from dust. Pretty straightforward, but crazy that they can actually come out looking this nice, because this is perfect pretty much. Now dust filters aside, let's actually take a look at the panels. So how these work and how they interconnect is they basically have those little hooks in plastic that you will also have to 3D print. You slot them in the designed holes and then the other panels will slide on top of it. The design is basically separated into two pieces, because in this way, even with a smaller 3D printer, you can still do it. Now, all the specs for 3D printing will be on their website. I will put a link down below in the description. But basically, we have half and half. So the first thing we need to do is to plug the two halves together. And as you can see, they just perfectly fit one into another, which is like super cool. So we do that. And now we have basically a tiny bit of our case mounted. Now to connect one side to the other, you will have to screw them, obviously. However, the panels themselves actually act to keep them connected. So now let me show you practically. So for example, here on the back, we have those tiny hooks from one side and from another side. So how we do this basically is the back of your case. If you have to like dismount the actual water block from your motherboard, this is super useful. So how you do it is you just slide it into here and then you plug it on the other side, just like this, and now it's mounted. Now the same thing goes for the top. We have a tiny hole here. So for this one as well, just slide in it and then plug in it. Right there. Now, obviously, this makes for one of the most open to customization cases ever, which is like super nice. Now with this, we basically have our case fully assembled. The only thing missing is the front. And again, it's a two-piece, or you can just put a single acrylic panel. And now, if you make the print thinner, those can be half transparent. I will put a few pictures of how it would look if it was half transparent. So now the front panel, again, you just slot it into these hooks. They are basically what carries the whole design. So you just get it in there. And same goes for here. And now it's fully done. However, we still have to plug it with screws to make it actually stay there. So I say we do that. And we take a look at the front I/O. Now these are the needle screws, and obviously the dimension for those as well are on the website. Then we have our GPU standoffs to just lock it in place, and other mounting hardware. This will also be included in the project to print it. Now right around where the two pieces connect, there is an actual place to put your screw, as you can see here and here and here and here. So we will start from these. Okay, so first criticism is that reaching the actual point to screw it is very difficult. You need a small screwdriver. Now, jokes aside, this is actually going to be super easy to do if you have a normal screwdriver. As you can see, you just go into here and you just screw it. As you can see, super easy. I can do it just with this, so yes. Okay, so with all the screws plugged, it's actually very solid. Looks like a normal case in terms of stability, which I really like. So I say we plug the actual I/O. Now, plugging in the power button is actually really cool if you've never done it. Basically, you have to undo this completely, take off this thing right here, as you can see. Then we take the actual power button from the outside and route it inside. So basically you have here the hole, you put the thing inside, and then you just, as you can see, lock it in here, and then you just put this one back where it was. So you just route it into here. You basically just tighten it once it's in here. So basically you have to rotate this thing. Now I can't show it to you because it's too tight. And it's now fully working. Really cool if you ask me. Now the USB port, this you will have to buy, but again it's super cheap, and I'll show you how to mount it. So this is the inside of our case, right? And here we have the actual holes for the I/O. So this is where you would just plug these, but as you can see, those things are interfering. So maybe don't get the ones I got, but get some without these. Now here I think I will just mod them by cutting these off and then finding out a way to lock them in place. But yes, this is the first issue I've encountered. Now these 3D printed things are the actual fit of the case. So I say we mount them. Super easy, again, just they have pre-drilled holes and you just have to screw them in. So with all of them mounted, we can actually take a look at how the case will look once finished. And here it is. Looking nice. Again, I love this button, honestly. It has the LED as well. And like the design is great. If you take a look, they have the Modcase engraved on the back as well. Build quality is honestly surprisingly good. So to conclude, I really like the case. I like how cheap it is. And it's definitely for somebody who likes to DIY a lot. It's not easy to build an ITX SFF gaming PC. It's definitely not easy if you also have to print it and build your own case. But I think if you love DIY, if you love custom loops, if you love ITX things, this is something really unique and that you can truly customize, because nothing prevents you from applying a slight difference in the aesthetics, again, in how thick those things are. Just mix and match the colors. I think if you want something unique and small, this might actually be it, guys. It's great. And it has actually a few extra little features. For example, the motherboard, you have to mount it from the back, as you can see right here. The GPU, you will actually 3D print the stand for the GPU as well. This one can also fit a 90mm fan on the back. You will have to relocate the PSU with a cable down here. And you're supposed to mount the power supply basically on this side, the motherboard here, and have your GPU over here, if it makes sense, so you have plenty of room and the GPU will breathe very fresh air. But we will see all of that in the actual finished build. I actually am planning to use this in a build. I have just yet to decide where exactly. Actually, you guys can decide if you want, so tell me what you'd like to see in this case. Maybe a low-powered HTPC build or just a full-on gaming build. Do let me know, and this thing will come back on the channel soon. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.